Loading. Here we go.
Hello, everybody. Welcome into another edition of Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Of course, coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, high atop the 18th fairway. Heard on great stations like 97.7 ESPN, The Ref in Evansville, WBRO in Marengo, and around the world on YouTube, where you should go right now and subscribe. Hit the like button as well. Make sure you never miss a show, an episode. Brought to you by AndyMooreHonda.com, where you will always find the best deals on new and used vehicles, and Endeavor Hospitality's Wow Club. Go to your Apple app or Google App Store now. Sign up. Start earning Wow rewards today to great places like BB's Market, home of the best selection of custom meats and in-house made products, and a full-size bakery where you can join us each and every Friday, where we do the show live and have a blast. I'm Jim Coyle. Here's my co-host, Dustin Schutte from Outsider.com, who was not able to make it last Friday to the chili cook-off, of which I am the champion. I won. Chef JD was not able to participate either, and so I win, and I am the reigning champion until something says otherwise. How's everybody doing? Welcome aboard. Lots to get to. A big weekend. Indiana football, Michigan, closer than a lot of people thought. Darren Hiller out as offensive line coach. The Big Ten West, man, look out. Here comes Purdue. Major League Baseball playoffs underway. NFL and Hoosier Hysteria has come and gone. So lots to get to. How's Dustin Schutte?
Dustin's doing great. Did JD at least try your chili? Did he at least make an appearance to?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay.
And he said that he would not be I'm not going to. I'll let him say it whenever he's on here some point. But I believe the words were, "I would not be afraid to serve this in any restaurant."
Wow. Nice.
So
there you go. Well-deserved champion then.
I will take the accolades. I'm enjoying it. Trust me, I'm enjoying the hell out of it by myself. It is downstairs in the refrigerator, and I'll eat it till it's gone. Loving every second of it.
That's the thing I love about chilies. You can let it sit in the refrigerator, and it only gets better with time. I mean, there's a certain expiration date on it, but
yeah. The only bad thing is eating chili every day for like 5 days in a row. That has an effect on the system.
It does. A very unpleasant.
I don't make my chili like Texas people do without beans. There are beans in my chili. So
right.
Just a little FYI there. Scott's jumping on with us already. Hey, Scott, how are you, sir? Robert says the IU Michigan discussion should be interesting. That's right. It will be. Patrick, how have you been, man? Time to see if they can eke out a bowl season after Hills. That's going to be tough. We'll get to that, though. Mike, he can feel the changes. Five Lefts, good morning. Says good morning. Tanis as well. Michael on as well. Patrick, outside of the football game, it was an absolutely a gorgeous weekend and gorgeous today as well. You're right, Patrick. Tanis says, hey, Hiller out, former IU center Rod Carey takes his place. That's right. We'll get to that. 2024 Indianapolis Cathedral quarterback Danny O'Neal. Not sure I missed that one. Dave G says, good morning. Travis, man. Wendy's chili. Come on, man. Come on, Five Lefts. What are you talking about? Wendy's. Get out of here, man. Come on.
Wendy's chili is overrated.
What? Ross is asking me, what are you, nuts? Asking me can you all not see my...
I can see it.
Whatever I'm wearing a Colts. I just happen to be wearing a Colts pullover. No, it's not a Wildcat shirt. Dave, he's on from Jacksonville this morning. Larry, man, it's popping morning, everybody here already. Michelle, how are you? Yeah, she was at the game this weekend. So there we go. Everybody jumping on early. Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. Looking forward to talking to the voice of the Hoosiers, Don Fischer. He'll be joining us. Dustin Dopirak, who kind of really put the question yesterday to Tom Allen about Darren Hiller. And yeah, I could tell Tom Allen's his demeanor was just not the same afterwards. He was really down. I mean, I think partly maybe he knew what he was going to have to do already. Robert saying a bowl is still a long shot. 4 of the last 6 are winnable, but 2 are road games. Maryland and Purdue are good teams. They would have to win 3 of the last 4. And Purdue is a team that's now looking to have a shot at the Big Ten West Championship. They're going to continue to get better. Purdue has won 2 back-to-back hard road games.
Yep.
Back-to-back hard road games against good teams. They go to Minnesota and win, that's tough. You go to Maryland and win, that's tough. Purdue, I believe, is in the driver's seat for the Big Ten West Championship.
Yep. It's as odd as it sounds right now, it's Purdue and it's Illinois. Those are the 2 best teams in the Big Ten West. I would say that Purdue's offense is probably a little bit better than Illinois'. But, I mean, those 2 teams, Illinois 5-1, it's kind of remarkable looking back how Indiana was able to get that win. That's a pretty good win on Indiana's resume. I know things haven't gone well the last 3 games, but my goodness, Illinois is playing really, really good defense right now. And then,
well, the thing is, Indiana is. I think it's because Indiana is just a this far off, and I know this is going to sound mean. I don't mean it to be because I say it about myself all the time. I always say, "Hey, I'm just this far off from being okay. I'm just this far away from being average."
Yeah.
Well, they're this far off from being good enough to win a game they need to win. They were just that far off from being able to beat Nebraska. They should have beaten Nebraska. They should have. They were just that far off of being able to do it, wasn't able to. Now it's going to get a lot tougher. These other teams are getting better as the season goes along as well. Purdue, that's just going to be of course, it's at the end of the year. Who knows how much Indiana can improve? I don't know.
Right.
But it's going to be a weird one. But a bowl for Indiana is going to be just tough as hell. I mean, I don't know where – I'll be honest, I just don't know where 3 more wins would come from. It would take upsets. To me, everything's going to be an upset the rest of the year.
Right.
There's no team they're going to play at any place, save Rutgers at home, that might be a toss-up. But they're going to be an underdog in every other game they play. Now they're underdog in this Michigan game by far, a 22.5-point underdog. And who in the hell thought that with 13 whatever minutes to go that it was to go in the game, that this would be a 1-score game? And Indiana had the ball. I remember sending out a tweet. I go, it's 17-10, something such in the fourth quarter, and Indiana has the ball.
I would have never predicted that. I thought Michigan was going to blow the game wide open from the opening kickoff and just kind of run it down their throat. And that wasn't the case. Indiana's defense played really well through 3 quarters of that game. And they made some plays in the fourth quarter. But the problem was, once again, Indiana couldn't move the ball down the field consistently. And I mean, look, I think as bad as it looked against Nebraska, as poorly as they played in the first half against Cincinnati, I think you walk away with some positives of this game. The offense, we know the offensive line was bad. J.J. McCarthy looked pretty good in that game, but they held their own for, like you said, basically three and a half quarters until Michigan, and really they scored a late game touchdown. So it was kind of just a 2 possession
Someone asked
game,
about
but
someone mentioned Rutgers. Tanis, no, who was it? Larry. Did Rutgers fire their OC?
I hadn't heard that. They might have.
I'm looking that up right now. I did not have a chance to look at that either, but let's see. I'm not seeing anything.
Yes, they did. Greg Schiano fired Sean Gleason.
Yeah, buried. It was buried way down there. Which is now. See that you fire a coordinator in season. That's a lot tougher than firing a position coach.
I would agree.
Is Schiano? A lot of head coaches are offensive guys. Is Schiano an offensive guy?
No, he's a defensive guy.
Then who the hell's going to call the plays for them?
That's a great question. I just opened the story. I don't know who they have on staff that's going to be able to do that. But that's tough, especially the offense. The defense, if you make a change at coordinator, it's a lot easier because you can simplify things. Let guys just kind of go out there and play, limit your playbook on that side of the football. And it can work that transition. But offense is so much more difficult because there's specific plays. There's, you have a set play of what play sets up the next play and what play sets up that play. So it's going to be interesting. I don't know if they've named an interim at this time based on this story I'm going through now, which is really bold.
Here's what's funny. Here's something funny, though. Sean Gleason was the first offensive coordinator to last multiple years at Rutgers.
Yep.
In over a decade.
Yep.
So Indiana fans, no matter what complaints you might have, just remember that. But it looks like we got time to take a break. The Fish is up soon. Well, here in a minute. Looks like we've got one more minute before we have to take a break. But so yeah, all kinds of stuff happening in the Big Ten. The Big Ten West, though, holy cow! Who I guarantee at the start of the season, Vegas did not have Purdue and Illinois giving them a rat's ass of a chance of being and who would?
There were a lot of people that thought Purdue would be towards the top. Now, nobody thought Illinois would. I didn't see it from Purdue. Having lost David Bell, George Karlaftis, Jalen Alexander, having lost so many talented players, they didn't have Milton Wright, their top receiver, coming back from their second best receiver coming back. But they've just found ways, man. Their two losses are to a ranked Syracuse, which is 5-0, and a ranked top 10 Penn State team that's 5-0. So in both those games, they should have won.
We got to take a break. Up next, the Fish. Don Fischer, the voice of the Indiana Hoosiers, joins us. Looking forward to that. He should be kind of fired up. Let's see, the festivities Friday night for Hoosier Hysteria were fun. I'm sure he was bopping. I think I saw him getting it to G Herbo. We'll talk about that and more here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio, brought to you by our good friends from BB's Market. Don't forget to reach out to them. You can do so at BB's Market. Visit bbsmarket.com. Greatest selection of meats, in-house products, and we're there each and every Friday. Also, don't forget the golf club at Eagle Point having their gold anniversary membership sale right now, and it is a bargain, folks. So listen to this, even if you're traveling. One-time cost, $299, covers your green fees for the next 2 years. That's right. Your green fees are covered for 2 years for just $299. You just have to pay a cart fee each time. And there's just a limited number of these they're going to sell. Once they're gone, they're gone. It began on the 6th, so that was 4 days ago. So you can just reach out to them at go online, eaglepoint.com. Hey, back with more right after this.
Wonderfully done, fellas.
Nunzio Campanelli.
Who? What?
Nunzio Campanelli will be their interim offensive coordinator. He was the OC
that reminded me. Whoa, Denunzio. There was a movie. It's coming to my head right now. Denunzio. Oh my gosh, it was a funny moment. I cannot recall, but oh well.
Sounds like it would be like a Martin Scorsese film.
Nah, it was a comedy.
Oh.
It was a comedy. Let's see. Did you send this to Don Fischer, by the way?
Yes. I sent it to all the guests. I'm wondering. Yeah, Don F. The Don FIU email. Yep.
All right. Just making sure. And if you need to, let's see.
Yeah, I double checked the link from John, and it's the right email. There he is.
Hi, guys.
Good
morning, Don. How are you, sir?
I'm doing okay. How about you?
I'm loving it. Just been bebopping to some more G Herbo all weekend.
Who?
G Herbo, man, your favorite.
I don't have any idea who G Herbo is, and I never heard any of his music. And based on what I was told about his music, I'm glad I haven't.
I was laughing. It was Friday afternoon. I snuck in 9 holes after everything. I'm like, all right, I'm going to sneak in 9 holes. And while I was doing it, I was listening to G Herbo. Maybe it was Thursday, but I was listening to G Herbo the whole time. And all I could do was laugh because I'm thinking, oh my God, they never heard anything like this off the walls of Simon Scott Assembly Hall. And I cannot wait to see what that's going to be like.
If it's not the Eagles, Michael Jackson, let me think, Elton John. If it's not from the 70s and the 80s and the 60s, I have no clue what you're talking about.
Nor is it worth listening to, mostly, to be honest with you.
Trust me, I'm well aware.
We go live in about 10 seconds.
Okay.
Cool. I'll count you guys down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio here on this Monday, a beautiful looking Monday out there. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Don Fischer, the voice of the Hoosiers, joining us now, brought to you by Southern Stone Restaurant, where you can find Don and Coach Tom Allen each Wednesday night at 7:05 for Inside Indiana Football. Don joins us. Don, what a weekend. Lots of stuff to talk about, of course. Indiana plays Michigan way tougher than anybody expected. It was a hell of a game. The Hoosier Hysteria happened. And Tom Allen was forced to fire Darren Hiller as the offensive line coach. So lots of things to jump on, to chew on here this morning. Your choice, where you want to start.
Well, let's start with the offensive line coach being fired. As you know, I have been harping on this for a couple of years now, not just this year. It was a problem last year. I think it was an obvious scenario that this had to take place, but I thought it would probably happen at the end of last season.
Most of us did.
And five coaching changes on your team at that time, I think, was obvious that some of this had to take place. Now, a couple of those guys left on their own. They went to either a better job or that type of thing. But there were guys that needed to be gone from this football program, and they were. But obviously, Darren Hiller was continued on. I guess he had a 2-year contract, whatever the case, and that was the second year of it. This year was the second year of it. Whether it was a financial thing to continue on, who knows? With COVID and all the problems that the athletic departments had from a financial perspective, in dealing with all the problems that Scott Dolson inherited because of COVID, who knows? All I can tell you is this: the results on the football field told you that you needed to make a change. Without question, this year the results were just disastrous from an offensive line perspective, and the change is made. Now, the good news is that even though you've let go an offensive line coach, you're installing an offensive line coach that was on the staff who was hired this summer as a quality control guy. And I don't think he had one thing to do with the offensive line during this period of time leading up to this letting this position being opened. However, there's nobody they could have had on staff that would be better to fill that position than this guy, Rod Carey. Rod Carey played at Indiana. He was a starting center for 3 years back in the 1990 to 93 seasons.
Which was a great time to be around Indiana football, actually.
Right. That's exactly right. That was the Von Dunbar era and people like that. So, look, this guy is a really good football coach. He was the head coach at Northern Illinois for 6 years, 6 bowl games.
That's a tough place to coach. I mean, didn't Coach Mallory come from Northern Illinois?
He did. He was there for 1 season before. I think that's right. I don't know if he was there for 1 season or maybe 3. I can't remember. All I can tell you is that Bill Mallory did come from Northern, and they hadn't had much success until Rod Carey got there. And his 6 seasons there, he was terrific. He went to Temple from there, thinking that program would be a good one to move to. He went there in 2019, 2020 COVID hits, 2021 he gets fired. How much of a chance did they give him at a school like that? And so he gets let go, and Tom hires him as a quality control guy this past summer, which, was a terrific hire in that regard. And I thought, hey, this is a guy that could really help the offensive line if that's the position they put him in, but I don't think they did. I think they put him in a quality control position, and I don't know what his responsibilities were, but I don't think he had a thing to do with the offensive line. The thing is, he does now. Now, can he make changes that are already been installed? Technique, scheme, all those kinds of things. Is he going to be able to make those kinds of changes to make a difference the rest of this season? Because he may want to change personnel too, what he sees there from an athletic or a talent standpoint. So honestly, it's hard to know if he can make anything change dramatically for this football team. But my gut feeling is something positive will happen out of this move.
Well,
like I was saying, I'm gonna be honest with you. It had slipped by me that they had him in the fold, and they could not have had a better person in the wings for this to happen. Like I said, he was here during a great time. Not only the running backs, but Indiana was successful. He knows the hard work it took because they were competing with these upper level teams with very moderate resources back then.
Right.
And so working hard was the only way for Indiana to succeed against them. And man, like I said, it slipped by me that they had him back there. Couldn't imagine a better person because he cares. He went to school there, so there's a little extra more. He wants to see this righted for a number of reasons. I think they're very fortunate to have had him in the fold.
No question. Dustin, do you have a thought?
Well, my question was, or maybe it's just a thought, but with 6 games left, it makes me wonder, is this going to serve as an audition period for Rod Carey? Does Tom Allen think if he can show some signs of progress over these next 6 games, he's the right guy, or do I need to go out and make another hire? I don't know that that's the best position because, as you mentioned, Don, you got very limited time. You've already got the schemes put in and all the technique and stuff, so you don't have a lot of time. It's going to be interesting to me to see, though, over these next 6 games, what improvements we see, and then if Tom Allen moves forward with him in a full-time role, or if there's not enough strides made, if he goes and tries to find somebody else. Well,
here's the other thing. Rod Carey might get offered a head coaching job someplace too.
Yep.
He was 52-30 when he was at Northern Illinois, and 38-10 in their conference. So he was a winner.
Right. I mean, here the whole thing boils down to it's going to be an interesting scenario if, in fact, this offensive line changes as the season progresses. He's the obvious choice. But at the same time, at the end of the season, somebody will come along and maybe say, we think this guy's a heck of a football coach and we want him as our head coach. So we're speculating all way ahead of time, and we shouldn't do that. So the whole key here is, can he make changes now? Can he help this football team get this offensive line problem solved? And I think that's going to be very difficult. If he does it, in my opinion, he's a miracle worker.
Yeah, I think he is going to be in the center. If there are changes and that are successful, there's no doubt that he's going to be in the middle of it, because I think he can be of great help to Walt Bell. I mean, he just has the experience. He's been there. And now that he is going to be so involved in the offensive line, maybe he can get a better look at, hey, here's what I'm seeing as an issue, and maybe switch to this, move this, change the offense just a tick. I don't know. I'm not in there and in practice to know what's going on. If it's a personnel problem, if it's just a scheme problem, if it's an execution problem.
Well, it's probably a combination of all those things. I mean, let's face it. This line has been as ineffective as any offensive line as we've seen maybe ever at IU. And that's a hard thing to say. I don't mean to I don't want to pile on the previous coach. All I can tell you is it didn't work. And when it doesn't work, you got to make some moves. And obviously, at this point in time, Tom Allen makes the move. And I think it was the absolute right one.
And then with all that said, Don, now we come back and talk about, I don't know if it was their best performance, but it was certainly the most shocking performance of the year as a 22.5-point underdog to the number 4 Michigan Wolverines. With 13 plus minutes to go, I noted it's 13 minutes left in the game, and Indiana's down 17-10 with the football.
Right.
That was not something I expected to say.
No, I know that. And I think the tempo of the way Indiana played in the first half really affected Michigan. I mean, pretty dramatically. I mean, Rhett my color analyst was saying so. You could tell those guys were winded. And then at our post-game show, we had Emory Simmons on, the wide receiver. And I said, Emory, do you think that the tempo in the first half affected Michigan? He started laughing. He goes, yeah, those guys' tongues were hanging out. He said they were really wore out, and our tempo really hurt them. That said, it worked. But here's the key. You've got to be able to continue that. And continuing that against a team like Michigan, who makes adjustments at halftime, and now they figured out kind of what you're doing. Now they're going to take some of that stuff away, and you've got to be able to continue to do something different yourself. And obviously, Indiana wasn't able to do that. But I will say one thing: I give the defense a lot of credit, because they were wore out by the end of this ball game. Because in the second half, Indiana couldn't move the football. It was 1, 2, 3, and out more times than you could count. And I think 29 total yards they accomplished in the second half offensively. And that was primarily because they couldn't block and keep Connor Bazelak, safe. I mean, he was hit. He was sacked 7 times in this ball game. The offensive line couldn't block for the run game. I feel like I'm just talking to a wall, because honestly, I say the same things every week. And the problem here is simple. If you can't block people, you can't do anything in football. Your trenches are the most important factor to any success you're going to have. And Indiana's trench, especially on the offensive side, is not getting it done.
Well, and on the defensive side, Don, I was impressed with the run defense. I know Blake Corum had a 50-yard run, but I hate to do this, but I'm going to do it. If you take that away, they held him to 74 yards on 24 carries. I mean, that's for a player who's in the Heisman contendership, like that to me is really impressive. I thought he would have 3 or 4 of those sort of 25 to 30-yard gains, because that's just what he does. But for the most part, they were able to keep him in check. I know J.J. McCarthy kind of picked him apart there through the air. But I was really impressed that Indiana said, you're not going to beat us on the ground. We're going to make you throw it to beat us. And that's what Michigan had to do to win this game. That's
exactly right. The defense played well. And when you consider that you're without Cam Jones and Jalen Williams, 2 of your best defensive players, both those guys missing because of injuries and probably will miss more time. Cam especially, I know he's not going to be available for 2 or 3 or 4 weeks. I don't even know, because the injury is significant to his foot. But give the defense credit. They hung in there. They did a really good job in this football game against a powerful football team, a football team that can just make you. I mean, they can basically make you go away.
Right.
And this defense held up. So I give the defense a lot of credit in this contest, but they were on the field way too much in the second half. And that caused some of their problems and why Michigan was able to take the game out of Indiana's hands.
Up next, a Maryland team that has lost back-to-back games, but they are a 10-point favorite coming into Bloomington this week in what their media is calling a must-win for them. They are now 4-2. It's not like they're in danger of losing bowl eligibility or not reaching bowl eligibility, but they consider playing Indiana an inferior team,
right?
In a game that they have to win, and so Indiana has to look at this as a great opportunity to reignite things for them at 3-3, because this is also a must-win. Because if you're looking at the schedule, you're going to think that the chances of winning this game are not good. Chances of winning that game are not good. This is a game that's winnable for Indiana, and I don't know if you call it a must-win, but it's certainly in that category.
Well, the concern about Maryland, in my opinion, is how much they've improved defensively, because they've always been a good offensive football team. They've got a terrific quarterback in Tunga Faloa. They've got a terrific running back. They've got a really good offensive line. They open holes. They block well for their quarterback. They give him time. They're going to put points on the scoreboard, and they're going to stop you from putting points there better than they have in the past. That's the concern in this football game. Can Indiana score enough points to beat Maryland? Because I think it could be one of those, I don't want to say a track meet, but it's going to be a shootout, in my opinion, if Indiana is able to compete offensively. If they can't compete offensively in this game will be over at halftime. And I hate to say it that way, but I think that's the big story of this contest, because they are a very potent offensive football team. They've got great athleticism. They've got terrific speed and quickness. Their athletes are, top notch, no question about it. Loxley is a coach that knows how to recruit, and he gets great players to come to his program. I'm not going any farther with that one.
All of a sudden, it was magical. Boy, they did it in a hurry.
Yeah, they've done it in a big hurry.
They're 25th in the country, Don, at scoring 34 points per game this season.
Right. So it's going to be a challenge for this defense. There's no question about it. I hope Jalen Williams is back this week. They're going to need him. I will say this. I thought Chris Keys did a nice job and taking Jalen's place for much of that football game on Saturday. I thought guys did step up. Bradley Jennings, I thought, played really well. Obviously, he had 13 tackles, I think 7 solos, but he was a factor. But this defense is going to have their hands full with this Maryland football team, and it's going to be a test.
This is
you've got to give a well. Hold on, I'm going to give a shout out to the spectators, the students, the fans. Not only did they come, and Michigan helped, no doubt, but they stayed. I mean, the fourth quarter, the end of the fourth quarter, they were all still there, and so that was good to see.
Well, absolutely. We almost never see that at IU. So, yeah, that was really good to see. And we had, I guess, they announced 50,800. Whether that was the correct number or not, I don't care. It was a great crowd. And the students did stick around. And God bless them, because we need that at Indiana. There's no question.
Let's see. Hoosier Hysteria got underway. Not a lot to learn from that. It was just a
there was nothing to learn from that. Are you kidding me? There was nothing to learn from that, but it was entertainment, and the kids had fun. The players had fun. I love
Don
that.
was dancing to G Herbo.
Don was not even there. Don was watching.
I didn't think you were.
Don was watching his grandson play high school football, and was very pleased to be doing it.
Nice.
Who was he playing for?
He plays for Bishop Chittard in Indianapolis.
What did they win?
Oh yeah, they clobbered him. They beat Terre Haute North. They just beat them to death.
Isn't Chittard like a 3A school?
They are a 3A school, and they've been playing 5A and 6A teams most of the season, and they're going to be really good when it comes 3A sectional time.
I was going to say, I mean, all those Terre Haute schools are at least 4 or 5, got to be 5A probably.
Yep. They beat the snot out of them.
What positions he play?
He plays offensive right tackle, and he plays defensively a defensive end position. He goes both ways. He's undersized for both positions. Actually, not undersized for the defensive spot, but he's undersized for the offensive line spot. But he's 6'1", weighs about 220, and goes up against guys that are 250 to 275. On a consistent basis. They play Cathedral, Roncalli. There are two huge offensive teams. They played a team from Missouri that's one of the top teams in the country. They played them last week. They got beat pretty bad in that one. But they've got a good football team. It's going to be a test for them. However, when they get to if they don't play anybody that has a great quarterback in 3A, they'll win the state championship. If they play somebody that's got a great quarterback, they might get beat.
Well, you need to get some weight on him, because I know a particular college that could certainly use a good, solid offensive lineman.
First of all, he is playing out of position. I just told you that, Jim.
I know. I played offensive guard when I was 7th, 8th, and 9th grade, so I know all about that. I'm like, when I became a sophomore, I'm like, okay, this is not going to work.
Well, at Bishop Chatard, you play where they tell you to play.
Exactly.
Because they need guys that can handle it. And he is a big, strong kid, and he can handle it. And he's been playing really well this year. He was out all last season with a foot injury. He had to have surgery on his foot. Didn't get to play, and he has been fired up to play this year, and he's having a great season. So I'm happy.
Well, hopefully, Kit Klingelhofer's grandson is a preferred walk-on for the IU football team. So hopefully hopefully this continues. Don, I don't want to keep you too long. I look forward to seeing you soon. I'll see you on actually Wednesday night probably, where you can catch Don.
I'll probably see you today.
Oh, that's right. I forget. Golly, it doesn't stop in a few hours. It doesn't stop. Don Fischer, you can catch him every Wednesday night, though, at 7:05 at Southern Stone Restaurant at Patterson and Rogers in Bloomington with Inside Indiana Football, Coach Tom Allen. Don, thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Thanks for the promo, guys. See you.
You bet. The greatest, Don Fischer, joining us here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Lots more coming up, and we're back with it right after this. Oh, I forgot. We got the no commercials countdown. We're back, people, in a second. I got to get some coffee.
Good morning, RC.
Morning, Dustin. Good to see you.
How are you?
Doing great. How are you?
Not bad at all. Running a touch late. I got here.
Hey, you're here. You joined us on break, so perfect timing.
Okay, sounds good. How long do I got on break?
2 minutes and 15 seconds.
Okay, great. I'll be right back. Just they know I'm here, so
yeah.
I'm just running like, hold on. All right, I'll mute this.
Now everybody's gone.
Cheers, Dustin.
Cheers. How do you take your coffee, RC?
Right now, I'm drinking it black, but usually I drink it black with just a little bit of milk in it. How about you?
Gotcha. Yeah, usually I go black, but then on like a weekend or a Friday or Saturday, I usually put it you put some creamer in there as a treat for myself for the week.
Special occasion.
A treat.
A treat. There's a
I
place.
always want flavored creamer. They make it. It's available. Why not have it?
I do enjoy some pumpkin spice in the fall for sure.
There's a place near my where I live, and I walk down there. Usually, I walk down there on Friday and Saturday, and they do Café con leche. Is that what it's called?
Café con leche.
It is so good. I'd never had it before. Oh, I mean, it's basically an ice cream sundae, but I think it's got 2 or 3 shots of espresso in there. Like it'll get you going, but it tastes good.
Dang it. There we go.
About 30 seconds.
Joe Botero. Oh, I'm thinking of G Herbo songs. What's up, Dustin?
What's happening, y'all?
If this was a normal day with our producer, I would have him pull up your question from Saturday because I think that you're the reason Darren Hiller got fired.
I wouldn't even have fun.
Yeah, take the responsibility.
I think we're I'm the reason that people suspected he was going to get fired.
Guys, this is a great topic, so I'm going to count you down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go live.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio here on this Monday, brought to you by our good friends from Remax Realty. If you're in the market for a home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore and her 2 decades of experience. It could be the reason you get your home you want or not. Reach out to her, Cheryl at IndyHomePros.com. And welcome, Dustin Dopirak from the Bloomington Herald-Times. Dustin, how are you, sir?
Doing well, Jim. How are you?
Great, beautiful weekend, fun weekend. Hoosier Hysteria, a tight football game against a top 5 opponent, a full Memorial Stadium, pretty full. Just a great weekend.
I don't know that I saw that tight football game. I saw half of that tight football game.
Yeah, I was.
You're pushing it.
I'm trying to raise the roof a little bit. Hey, be careful now. I'll blame you for Darren Hiller being fired. Dustin asked the question, but he asked only because that's what he does. That's what his
there were
job
7
is.
sacks on Saturday, and at some point, the question has to be put to him.
It did, and it was, and he was brutally honest, and I could tell a different tone in his voice. I could tell a different tone in his behavior. I think that he already knew, and especially when you asked, he just knew that it had to come. There was no more.
Right.
There was no more hiding behind anything. And I, like you, though, was surprised to see it happen in season.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I think
because it's Tom Allen, not because it shouldn't have.
Yes. No, I mean, but that being said, he was angry. I mean, we had several conversations walking back from with a lot of people, the younger reporters, especially, because they probably haven't seen anything like that. Were like, do you think he's going to pull the trigger here? And I did. I mean, I knew Zach Osterman and I had talked about this. We were like, Rod Carey's there. Like that's an option. Like it was very clear, I think, at that point.
I didn't know that. And I mentioned it in the last that I don't know how that slipped by me, but the fact that
a lot of guys by when it comes to those quality control and GA stuff, they don't announce all that.
Like, I didn't see that, and I'm like going, wait a minute. Because he coached under who's the AD that also
Pat Kraft. Yeah.
Now is Pat Kraft who fired him at?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. He went away from Rod Carey and got why am I blanking? The guy who's at Carolina right now. Panthers guy. Why am I blanking on the I literally can see his face. What's that?
Matt Rule.
Matt Rule, yes, exactly. Why am I knew his name was Matt. I was totally blanking on him right now. I can see his face right now, but it took me a minute to remember his name. But yeah, Pat Kraft got him, and that's why Pat Kraft's the AD at Penn State, is that he won at Temple, and he won at Temple with Matt Rule, and he went away from Rod Carey. But Rod Carey played center at Indiana, and what I said to some of the guys was like, if there's anybody on the payroll who can coach offensive line, I think Tom Allen's going to make a move because – I mean, he just needs somebody who's going to be there on Monday morning. You can't, basically you can't fire an offensive line coach.
You can't turn this over to a GA.
Right, exactly. Unless you've got a special kind of GA. I mean, like in terms of here's another one. Like in terms of guys we didn't even realize were there. Like I just kind of saw this pop up sometime in the summer, and I didn't see him get the announcement. Like DeMarcus Ayers is a guy who was with the Steelers when I covered them, and he's a either quality control guy or GA. He's on staff, so they got an NFL wide receiver who's just running around back there that nobody really knows is on staff. But the point of the matter, I think it was just clear at that point. I mean, he really, I expect him to at least toy with that question and saying, well, evaluation, like just kind of throw a whole bunch of terms in there to, deflect on some level. I mean, I didn't think he'd be disrespectful because Tom isn't. Generally, I mean, he's if he's not going to answer your question, he generally tells you he won't. He's not going to go out of his way to make you look stupid. If he knows it's a good question, he's not going to try to embarrass you with it, and he's not going to like put you on the spot because you asked about firing a coach. But I mean, he just say like I wasn't even done with my question yet. He said not the last 3 weeks. Like I wasn't even finished, and he had to let me get another sentence out before he said, not last week, not this week. I'm very, very disappointed. I mean, like he was clearly, it was clearly obvious that he'd reached the point with that unit that it's just not good enough. I mean, and I think, obviously today we get some opportunity to really kind of explore that more in depth. Because we'll get to talk to him and we'll get to talk to Rod Carey and get a better sense of, okay, what, now that you could talk about this, now that you've made a move, where were the breakdowns? Was it a process issue or was it just results? Basically, was there anything that because he said he had a lot of sort of in-depth conversations with Darren over the offseason to say, hey, I'm demanding this. Did he, were there process demands that were not met? Basically, what did he say? I want this done style of play wise, technique wise, this, you have to do this. And he either refused or failed to do that. Or was it just, hey, you got to get better this year. However you do it is fine, but you got to get better this year. And if there's not results, you're not going to have a job. Like, just so you know what the stakes are, what were the kind of the, manner of that conversation?
I doubt that. But I doubt that, because of the relationship, because of
he won't sell him out. He won't sell him.
And he'll just say,
there are ways he can answer that question without selling him out, I think.
But actually, we don't. I'll be honest with you. I don't really need the answers to that question. I've watched the offensive line just not only is it not improved, the recruiting. Where was the massive effort in the offseason to tackle the transfer portal and bring something in? I mean, whether it's from the backside, a left tackle or whatever, you got to make a move in that portal with what it offers, and they didn't.
Right. No, I mean, and part of it is like I guess they didn't identify. All right, this is the position where it has to be. And I think part of that is just there was some level of belief in the guys that they had. Maybe there was a sense that they weren't going to get anybody better. And I think yesterday was the first day I noticed Luke Haggard having a bad day. That I noticed him get beat a couple times. At least one of those sacks is on him. And so I hadn't noticed that before. I feel like Haggard had a pretty good season. And I mentioned that to say I think they felt pretty good about what they had to tackle. I think they felt pretty good about Luke Haggard and they felt pretty good about Matt Bedford, and they didn't necessarily think they could do better. Maybe they think better of the guys in the interior necessarily than we do. But part of the reason that I want to get a better sense of where he's at with this is, I couldn't coach a 6-year-old in offensive line play. I know when it's bad. I know you're supposed to block the guy. I know if their guys are in your backfield, then you've screwed something up. I don't necessarily, I can't watch an offensive line play. Well, he should have punched here or he should. It's like, if that guy gets by you, you did something wrong, or you're just not as good as that guy. So I do want to learn more about, okay, what did you see as to why this really broke down, and get a better sense of it to judge it for future reference. Because how many people can, for everybody, literally the entire fan base has said Darren Hiller needs to be fired for the last year, practically. How many of them could tell you what Darren Hiller actually did wrong? I can't. I can see his results are short, but how many could tell you, okay, the reason why?
That's the only answer I would have is he did not improve the quality of play.
They're not better. They didn't get any better, and so that tells you something must have.
Well, they may have gotten worse.
They did. They ultimately
they did get worse.
They did get worse. They're 19 sacks. So they're past.
Look at the quarterbacks you've had
when they got 2 quarterbacks hurt.
You've had a lot of talent at quarterback that you've not been able to use. Michael Penix, although his injuries, I don't know that you can necessarily blame him on the offensive line. He had the one injury; he's running out of bounds. His shoulder injury. I don't. He was a little brittle. So I mean, I give him half
for the fact that several of his injuries were past the line of scrimmage. Yeah, that he had passed the line of scrimmage. Now there's also,
but they still couldn't run the ball. but they still couldn't run the ball. So,
No, exactly.
and it's
There's
not that they don't have
there as far
sufficient
as
running
results are
backs.
concerned to be able to say, this unit was not performing.
Well,
And I'll be honest with you, I'm shocked at how poorly, how absolutely terribly they run the ball now. I'm like, okay, there's no way that you can't find a couple of plays that will work within the constraints of your offense because of how much movement there is constantly. There's got to be a couple of running plays that should always be, okay, this is worth a couple yards. No. And sometimes Walt really makes me, none of this is Walt's fault, Walt Bell, OC, but sometimes when he runs twice up the middle, I'm like, all right, what the hell are you doing, dude? I mean, you have no chance. I understand every now and then you've got to keep them honest, but doing it twice is not keeping them honest.
Right. No, and it does seem to be the formula of try to do something through the air on first and then go up the middle on second to get a couple yards is just not going anywhere for them. I think, and that's a significant issue. It's that, you're constantly find yourself in third and long because you were trying something funky on first down. It didn't work. Then you find yourself needing some kind of yards on second down. You're not getting anything there. You're getting 2 if you're lucky. You're not getting 4 or 5 to put yourself in at least a third and medium situation. I mean, I checked this a couple weeks ago. I think it was before the Nebraska game. But they had more third and longs than anything. Like they kind of break down in their game notes, third and shorts, third and mediums, third and longs. They got a lot more third and longs than they have third and shorts. And I think you combine the third and shorts and the third and mediums, and it was still more, but not by much. And there's not a lot of third and medium in general. Basically, there are times when they're successful enough, and when they were getting to third and short, they were picking it up pretty automatically. It was like 13 out of 16 or something like that. But I mean, a big part of the reason that they were even functional was they were 9 for 25 on 3rd and 8 or more. Which for that distance isn't bad. I mean, they're capable of picking them up, especially just Cam Camper finding a way to make a play. But yeah, no, I mean, I think that's the question. Now, I mean, I would say I thought you saw a lot of good and bad from Walt Bell on Saturday. When you had good sequences, they were really good. You were like, well, that was sharp. You saw a couple play designs. Even some stuff that didn't work. I mean, I think there was one where Aaron Steinfeld got open and Bazelak just threw him behind it, but Steinfeld.
And he had his first touchdown, unfortunately, called back
on a big play. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I hate those, man. Right. I hate those calls. But
there were a couple. There were several design plays where I'm like, I mean, the touchdown was one of them where you're like, man, that, that's some art right there on the whiteboard.
I'm blaming none of this on
Judy's got a lot to say, man, and I'm quite interested in it.
Well, no, I'm curious to know. I think you can win football games with a bad offensive line. I think they did it with Kalen DeBoer. I think Purdue's done it. Maryland, Michigan State did it last year. There's a lot you can cover up. And what I'm interested to do, this goes to your question about what was maybe happening process-wise. Was there not enough good collaboration between Darren Hiller and Walt Bell? Because you need those. If your offensive line's bad, you need those guys to work together even more so.
But how much can you collaborate with a unit that is just not? What are you going to say after so long?
But if you go back and look at how bad Purdue's offensive line last year was not good, and they won 9 games. Michigan State's offensive line was not good; they won 11 games last season. I'm not saying Indiana
not good. You can't say not good and compare it to Indiana's not good because that's a.
But I'm not saying Indiana's an 11-win team. I'm saying they could win. I think you could get to 6 wins. I think they have the quarterback play. I think they have the talent on the outside. I think they've got a trio now of what we see to be pretty good running backs. I think the athletes are there offensively to be playing better. So that's why I don't know that the offensive line is going to get better, but maybe the collaboration is a little bit better. You see a little bit different play calling. Maybe that's enough to get them a couple wins down the stretch.
Sure. No, I mean, I think you're totally right. I think you can win with a bad offensive line. You can't win with a terrible offensive line.
Sure.
I don't know where the breaking point is in terms of this is too much, basically. But you can definitely, you don't need every offensive line to be, a Wisconsin classic to be able to win championships or to win a lot, or certainly to get to bowl games. And I think there is definitely they could have overperformed their offensive line a little more. And I think there are ways from a talent issue that guys could have taken advantage of more opportunities, ways from a play calling issue. Really the last two coordinators, I think had opportunities to do more. But the thing about it is obviously what happens is the margin for error is less. You can't guess wrong as much. A good offensive line can make you wrong, can make you right when you're wrong. Yeah. A bad offensive line can make you wrong when you're right. Sure. So it's obviously sort of on a spectrum, like a sliding scale, basically. Like the worse your offensive line is, the better your offensive line is, the more sort of freedom you really have. You can do well and win with a bad offensive line or something that is south of average. But you got to be really good. Although the rest of the pieces have to be able to carry you. And the thing is, the offensive talent is okay. I think that's the issue too. It's not, like Cam Camper, I think, is really good, but it's not David Bell. Right. I think, and the going down the line, is not as good as the playmakers that Purdue had last year. Milton Wrights. I think DJ Matthews is good, but I think, you really saw just how much is lost when Indiana loses Camper and Matthews. There's a drop off. I think Anderson Kobe has promise. Javon Swinton has moments. Emery Simmons does some good things. But there's not a lot of plus guys out there. Once you take Camper and Matthews off the board, to kind of use a baseball way of putting it. When someone's got a plus arm or whatever, like there aren't necessarily plus receivers once you get past Matthews and Camper. They're functional. They can do their job. They're not bad. Like they have moments. Emery Simmons, I think, is the best out of that group. He kind of really has moments. Kobe might end up being really good. He's still a puppy. But when you take Camper and Matthews off the floor, you don't have that much. And, Henderson and Shivers are okay or better. They're not like, I don't mean to rip them, but they're also not Travion Henderson. They're not Blake Corum. They're not at that level. They can get it done for you, but they're not necessarily making you right when you're wrong all that much. Jalen Lucas can, when you get those plays for him, but also he's not going to give you anything in pass protection at this point, 107 pounds.
We got to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Got the Dustin Squared, baby, with Dustin Dopirak of the Bloomington Herald-Times and Dustin Schutte from Outsider.com. Back with more, brought to you by Barber Pop Real Estate Services from Southern Indiana, Louisville. If you're looking for a home in that area, Floyd, Clark, Harrison, Scott counties, they have served that area for 3 decades, and no one can get you in the home you want more so than Barbara Pop Real Estate Services. Reach out to Barbara at barbarapop.com or Matt Lincoln, Matt at barbarapop.com. Back with more of the two Dustins right after this.
Good stuff, fellas.
Let's see.
What did you rank Illinois this week, Dustin?
I didn't.
Oh, you coward.
Yeah, no. I am pushing back on that. I had them on. Okay.
Because they lost to Indiana,
They lost to Indiana. That's why. Yes, that's why I didn't rank them. Okay.
Oh,
I had them on the board. I had them in Minnesota on the board. Okay. Like I had them written down. I had them in my last 2 spots. Then I asked myself the question, do I really think they're better than Utah and Kentucky?
Shoot.
And the answer was no.
Utah and Kentucky. You don't think – okay.
Well,
Utah – I will agree with you on Utah because I think UCLA is really good. Kentucky, I am not sold on Kentucky. I think Will Levis is overrated. If he's the number 1 overall pick, then this draft class is not good. I'm just putting that out there.
Oh yeah, that's true. I think Levis is pretty good, but I don't think he's number 1 overall. I'm going to put because Minnesota and Illinois play this week.
Yep.
So winner gets a spot for me.
Winner gets a spot.
Calling it out already for all the people out there that seem to care about my 8 people.
You're just the only person I know who submits one, so that's why I had to ask.
Sure. No problem. They could play their way into it, but yes, they're still holding a demerit from me for losing to Indiana. That's for sure. So I think, but if they beat Minnesota, I'll put them in, and if Minnesota beats them, I'll put them in. I will allow the best team in the Big Ten West, whoever it might be, to have a spot in the AP Top 25.
Well, then it could be Purdue.
Could be Purdue. If Purdue's got a shot long term. If Purdue takes down, because I guess they've beaten Minnesota. If they take down Illinois eventually, and they don't lose any more stupid games between now and then, then they have a good shot of getting in my poll too.
There we go.
Holy cannolis! This is not.
But I definitely I gave one to the little guys this week. James Madison and Coastal are both in my poll.
Oh boy.
So I get.
So here's the question then. You think that those two teams are better than Illinois?
Maybe not, but I definitely. It's funny because there's like
how much time we have, RC?
About 30 seconds.
All right, I'll make it quick. I covered James Madison basketball before I got to Indiana, and the guy who covered football was also my roommate, Mike Barber, who now covers Virginia at the Richmond Times-Dispatch. So we talk about we both vote and we talk about our poll every week, and so the fact that we're both putting James Madison in this week. Nice. Funny. But we definitely thought 6-0 at this point's got to mean something.
Sure, and I get that.
There's we have several different arguments and theories to kind of put our poll together, some of which are definitely contradictory. Internally contradictory for sure. So that's probably unfair, but it is
5, 4, 3, 2, go.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio here on this Monday, brought to you by our good friends at Feast Market and Cellar, located right next door to Southern Stone Restaurant on Patterson and Rogers in Bloomington, part of the WOW Club. Make sure you go to your Apple app or Google App Store and sign up for the WOW Club today. Start earning WOW rewards. And stop by Feast, where they have an unbelievable selection of incredible wines with a sommelier and the staff to help people like me who doesn't know what in the world they're doing. Dustin Dopirak from the Bloomington Herald-Times is with us, as is Dustin Schutte from Outsider.com. Hope you had a great weekend. Lots of football happened, which was fun. Also, basically arrival of basketball season in essence, Dustin. Dopirak with Hoosier Hysteria. Nothing to learn, of course, but the peeps got to see the guys. It was fun, a festive atmosphere. The kids loved G Herbo. I think that Dustin was on stage dancing at one point.
Totally. I was on stage telling them how Wu-Tang Clan and Outkast are better.
I like that.
Well, that ain't no lie.
I was definitely playing the old head, I like,
but that ain't no lie. But you ain't lying. You telling the truth. Telling the truth.
Yeah, but yeah, no. I thought Zach Osterman and I talked a lot about this. We podcasted afterwards. I think what stand out to me, and so as far as that was worth learning that you could kind of tie to something and not necessarily say, well, this means this or this means that. There's just a lot of confidence. I think on that team right now, which is fascinating. And because you could obviously say, all right, well, they're Big Ten preseason favorites by default. Like the only reason that they're, preseason favorites is because everybody else in the Big Ten lost a lot of talent, basically. Because I think it's 13 out of 16. I think the only 3 guys that were all Big Ten last year that are back in the league are the unanimous guys in this year's poll, which is Jackson Davis, Hunter Dickinson, and Zach Edey. And just sort of everybody else is like, oh, no idea who's going to be good. I mean, they're throwing Chucky Hepburn on the All Big Ten team because it's like throwing darts. Just
right.
Guys we remember that did anything we saw. We're putting on the All Big Ten team, and I get which I get because then that's what I would have done. I didn't get one of those, but the point is, it's like, hey, Indiana's got a lot of guys back. They got some good freshmen on the basic scale of how do you pick a preseason favorite. That's what they got, but they I think have a sense that they are good. And they also have this sense that, they are expected to be good this year. They're expected to get somewhere, but it's not the same sense of like 2013 where it's like, this is desperate. This is your chance. This is your opportunity and you better not waste it kind of deal. They are good in a way that doesn't feel like the clock's ticking on it. And it is because, they probably only are getting this, I don't think Trace Jackson Davis does a 5th year. This is their best chance to be really good in the next couple of years. Who knows who sticks around next year? Is Jalen Hood-Schifino one and done? I don't know. But they have a chance to be at least decent going forward, even if Jackson Davis leaves and Hood-Schifino leaves and you lose the other guys you're going to lose. But they have a sense, I think, that they've got some really good pieces and that it can come together and they can be really good. I think that showed at Hoosier Hysteria some small things that I thought were funny. Just like even, like that I don't think a less confident team would have done. It was small things like that. They just carried themselves like, the freshmen definitely carried themselves like they belong, Hood-Schifino and Reno especially just don't at all feel like they don't belong there. Hood-Schifino looks like he's been in college for, actually he's been there for 5 years and everybody knows him already. And just the rest of the guys, they just, Tamar Bates just looks like a grown up now. And obviously he's walking up on stage with his baby girl, and like, which in and of itself is a really cool thing and is a really confident thing. It's like, okay, like, yeah, I'm a 19-year-old dad. Guess what? I'm going to, we're
shows
going to
a little maturity.
Yeah, like this is not going to be a thing I hide or whatever, or act like, like it's like, no, I'm a dad now. This is my baby girl, and I want you all to see her, and she's awesome, which is really cool and really confident. Small thing, Trace Jackson Davis coming out to Mr. Brightside, I thought was fascinating. And I was like, it's weird, but it's very like, I'm embracing my last year of college. This is the song we sing at bars, and we're all going to do this together right now. Like, it's not like I'm going to go pick a, hard ass track to look badass. It's like no, I'm going to bathe in being college guy one more year, and let's have fun doing this. And that's confident, that's mature in its own way. And so like I'm like really kind of pulling for threads in a weird way, but that's what stood out to me. Just this, that there was something there that struck me as real maturity and confidence. And there's no. Again, they got no reason to fear. They don't feel like the clock is ticking. And man, if you don't win a national championship this year, you failed. They have a sense that, we might be Big Ten favorites by default, but we can win that league and we're that good. That's how they feel.
I know we got to get you out of here, but one question I have was, I think under the previous regime, there was a certain mindset, and everybody kind of followed this cookie cutter personality. And now it seems like Mike Woodson wants these guys to have their own personality. And within that, you get more confidence because you're being yourself. And he's not asking people to shy away from that. I mean, I wasn't there. Is that kind of the sense you're getting, that their personalities are starting to come out a little bit more than previously?
Yeah, I think, and a big part of it is, I think Mike Woodson can be himself in a way that other coaches in Indiana since Bob Knight have not been, confident being themselves.
He is the most comfortable in his own skin. There's no
because
doubt.
He's an alum. Like there is nothing he has to dance around. And I say that with some level of sympathy for the previous coaches, that they were stepping into a situation, even 20 years out from Knight, like obviously, like on some level, Bobby Knight should not affect Archie Miller, and only kind of did. Like, I mean, basically a lot of that had sort of dissipated over time, but there are things that Mike Woodson can do that no other coach could have got away with. Let's be serious. There is not any other coach who could have brought a rapper in post his Hoosier Hysteria other than Mike Woodson. No chance. 0%. Tom Crean does that, they'd have lost it on him. Okay? They totally would have. And so, and like Tom tried really hard. There's a lot of things you could say about Tom Crean, but when it came to connecting to the history, Tom tried so hard. And the
people of Bloomington
to try to pull it off. And he, like Tom was on board with Fred Glass trying to invite Bob Knight out and bring him out for the Hall of Fame. Tom wanted every alum out there, really wanted it. Like Tom's personality is Tom's personality. It's different. I don't have time to go into it, but there are things that, I mean, I don't know if Tom wanted to do something like that, but like, even if he did, like, it wouldn't fly. And I think he knew that. Mike Woodson can absolutely get away with that stuff. Like, Mike Woodson is definitely like the older uncle on this team to these guys. That's kind of how they view him, is like kind of halfway father, but more sort of like, funny and entertaining old uncle. But he's like, you guys want one of these rappers? Yeah, we could do that. No problem. I know some people. I'll make it happen.
Listen, that's the first Mike Woodson impersonation we've had.
Back in 1996, I could get a hold of him. I could get him to give you a voicemail. Yeah, we could totally do that. Like,
but the only mistake you made was
nobody else could do that. Nobody else could get away with it, and Mike can, and that brings confidence all the way around. Everybody's just comfortable in their own skin. I mean, I'm sure that there are going to come things that you're going to be able to criticize Mike Woodson for, whether it's X's and O's, whether it's two lines, whether it's recruiting that he hasn't got as many pieces going forward. Like there are going to be things to criticize Mike Woodson about. Mike Woodson has the confidence of being an alum, being a Bob Knight guy, being accomplished, having an NBA championship ring as an assistant. He walks in here, he does not feel like he has to do what someone else wants him to do. He has the confidence of feeling like they want me here. They want an Indiana guy, and I get to just be. And therefore, I don't carry any of the same pressure that the other guys before me did. I get to just be this, not be afraid of it, not apologize for anything, and just go. And that's what they can do that they haven't been able to do in 20 years.
Dustin's got to get out of here so we can get down to the football press conference today. So we'll let him go. We appreciate you, my friend. Look forward to seeing you. Appreciate you, brother. Dustin Dopirak from the Bloomington Herald Times. Make sure you give him a follow and subscribe. Dustin Schutte with me from theoutsider.com. Still, let's see. I'll make sure what time. When do we hit our next break there? RC's filling in today for John, the producer.
The next break was scheduled for about 4 minutes from now, but whenever you would like to break, just let me know.
Oh, no worries. I will. Just curious when that was. Dustin Dopirak, like I said, with us. So now we'll see what changes are coming. Today's press conference. I can't stay for the whole daggone thing. So I got to go get an MRI, but the guys from the Hoosier.com will be there, and that will all be quickly put up on the YouTube channels. I mean, it's not like there's going to be something earth-shattering. We already know the gist of what it is. It's just curious, but hey to James. JJ, haven't seen JJ on here before, so welcome. Appreciate you. Make sure you go to YouTube if you're not listening on radio and sign up. Hit the like button. We'd appreciate that. Hello to our friends listening on 97.7 The Ref. Always the right call. Hope everything's going well down in Evansville and WBRO and Marengo. Appreciate you guys as well. Dustin Schutte, what are you getting out for any games this year?
I'm not sure. I'd like to. Or
are you just going to be a hermit? Guess who's coming in this weekend, by the way? I just got
Mitchell Page.
Mitchell Page.
There you go. That's awesome. I don't know. I'd like to. Ooh, nice. That'll be fun.
Maybe it won't be for me getting my butt kicked by a 0.8 handicapper.
See, this is why Mitchell has said to me sometimes, he's like, we should play golf sometime. And I'm like, I think you would hate playing golf with me because I am not good. And you will be there forever. So yeah, that's awesome.
Separate carts. I'm not. I'm like, dude, I need my own cart to go get my own ball. I'm not going to be watching you. I'm going to hit 3 times by the time we get to your ball.
We'll just meet you on the green. We'll meet up on the green.
Exactly. Hey, lots more coming up here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Appreciate you guys being here. And we're back. Dustin Schutte from outsider.com with me right now. And we're back with more brought to you by our friends at Metalworks Brewing Company, part of the WOW Club and the WOW Network. Make sure you go to your Apple App Store, Google Play Store, sign up for the WOW Club today. Start earning WOW rewards. Metalworks Brewing Company, located just off of the square in Bloomington, committed to being a big part of the community. Their love and passion for beer and custom metalwork. Back with more right after this. It's weird not hearing the sounds.
It is.
But
John told me next time we do this, he's going to teach me how to do the sound. Yeah, so
nice.
Next time I'm on, I should have the sounds.
No, it's no worries really because it turns right down. But
it's just different. Right. It's not really a big. I don't think it's a big deal. It's just different.
Me and John and I's goal is that as we want to make it as much as if John is here as possible. So I'm gonna be programmed.
So there you go.
No worries. Hey, Dustin, I got some information for you.
For me? Okay.
Not only what college, there is a specific fraternity at a specific college that has, and I'm guessing at this, but more impact on professional sports than any in the United States.
Whoa.
And I will give you a hint that the college or university, whichever it is in the state of Indiana.
In professional sports? In terms of athletes?
Is it a football school?
Huh. So
I would say the fact that they come from the same fraternity at the same school, they have a bigger impact on professional sports than any other.
What's Mark Cuban? This is so it's got to be Indiana, but I don't know. Mark Cuban was, huh?
Does it?
I guess it doesn't have to be, but
now that you brought him up, that's two different things.
Oh,
what state now? I'm going to add has the biggest impact on professional sports, but there is one school and actually one fraternity at that school that actually, to me, has the biggest impact on professional sports versus any other.
We're live in about 30 seconds, guys.
This is a great question. I have no idea about any of this. I don't know. I don't know frats, to be honest with you. I just
I only learned this, so.
Oh. I didn't know Mark Cuban made his fortune by trying to stream IU basketball games.
Well, I don't think that's how he made his fortune, but I think it probably
that's how he kickstarted it.
It's probably what got him into thinking that.
You're live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio, coming to you here on this Monday. I hope you had a great weekend and a good start to the week. Hope we're helping you with that. We're brought to you by our good friends from Courtroom Sports Grill down in Bedford. If you're down there, it is a great place to stop in, catch a game, meet friends for lunch. Great Cajun fare. Very good, delicious, fresh menu. Please join or welcome Dustin Schutte. He's been here, my co-host from Outsider.com. We've already spoken with Don Fischer, the Fish, and just got off with Dustin Dopirak from the Bloomington Herald Times. Something I learned over the weekend, Dustin, which I did not know this, and you just added another to it. But there is a particular school, college, university in the state of Indiana, and a particular fraternity at that school that to me has the biggest impact on professional sports. And then I can add a second question: what state may be there as well? You're not going to guess this. My first question was what's the school of DePaul. Not DePaul in Chicago, but DePaul.
Wow.
They have two fraternity members from the ATO fraternity. Brad Stevens is one of them.
Okay.
The other is Joe Shane. Joe Shane happens to be the it was GM and of the New York Giants.
Oh, I did not know that. Wow.
I did not know that. So you've got I'm assuming maybe he's president as well. I don't know. But so you've got the president GM of the New York Giants, the Boston Celtics. Now you want to add Mark Cuban, owner of the Dallas Mavericks.
Yep.
Now he's not. Well, he went to school in Indiana, so he's not from here. But so those three people. Does Indiana have the biggest impact on professional sports right now? The state of Indiana?
They might. That's
incredible.
That's a great question. My alma mater, Manchester, is Aaron Wellman was with the Giants before he took the job at Indiana, so that's a little boost. I did not know that. First of all, this is shocking. I did not know Brad Stevens went to DePaul. I'm just now learning it. And Chris Denering went to Wabash. Look at the small schools in Indiana producing. Matt Taylor went to Franklin. My goodness.
Besides IU, I also went to IUS, but I don't count. But when I was finishing up, because I was on TV down in Louisville.
Oh, okay.
Indiana University Southeast. But those are, I mean, the GMs, are you kidding me?
That's crazy.
GMs, they're from the same stinking fraternity at the same little bitty school.
Yeah. I would have never guessed that. I would have never guessed DePaul. I don't know Greek life, so I would have never guessed a fraternity.
Well, DePaul is I doubt either you and I could have been accepted into that university.
Oh, that's correct. That's 100% correct. I'd have never been accepted. I wouldn't have gotten accepted to DePaul.
That's DePaul with the L?
No, without the L. DePaul.
The
I would have
W?
never gotten accepted. Yeah.
That's what I just said. We couldn't have gotten in there.
Oh, I thought you meant we wouldn't have got into the fraternity. Which so both
he couldn't have gotten into the schools. What I meant, forget the fraternity. I wouldn't have gotten in there either because I don't. That was not my deal.
Bill Lynch, he just retired. He coached at DePaul. One of my friends, good friends, who's now a head high school football coach. He coached under Bill Lynch at DePaul.
Sectional pairings announced yesterday. Apparently,
oh man.
Only 1 week left in high school football. We'll talk to Kyle Neddenrip on Wednesday about all that to see who's drawn whom, who's going to be doing what. Carson Wentz keeps Colts out of AFC South lead. Did you see that Carson Wentz finished to that game yesterday?
I did not. I missed it.
I forget. Who's he with?
The Commanders, Washington.
Had a chance to win the game.
Oh, yes, I did see this. He threw a pick on the final play, right?
At the goal line.
Yep, I did see that.
Yeah, that one, not good.
Not good.
Not good.
Well, let me tell you, the Colts are the only thing that prevent the Colts from being in the top of the division. Their offense, dear God, it's bad.
Let's see. Oh, betting this weekend was absolutely horrific for me. It was the worst weekend. Not that I've had a big betting career because I don't bet that much to begin with, but I had built up a little bank and I'm like, all right. So I just started going a little crazy. And I had ended up having like 10 total parlays. I think I hit that many of them.
Oh boy.
That's never ever. That's never ever. Number one, I've never ever had that many, even close to that many. But that's never happened, and I cannot believe. I'm shocked. But now some of the games from over the weekend, yes, I'm shocked. But because I kind of doubled back on something, but we also haven't looked at some of the games over the weekend. Some surprises.
I want to say that missing all of them is almost as impressive as getting all of them correct. It's nearly impossible. No,
it's nearly impossible.
You should get a free
because
bet
I did not have this. I know because I did not have the same stuff. I'm mixing it up, and I'm like, my phone had died, so I'm like, I wasn't worried about it. I'll wait till the next day. I'll look, and I'm like, huh? 19 cents. I have 19 cents in my account, and I'm like, there's no way. Yes, way. Yes,
it can't happen apparently.
Let's see. Washington losing to Arizona State after firing Herm Edwards.
Yep.
I'm like, you're kidding me, right? It's shocking to me. To go back and look at some scores from over the weekend. That was week 7 already?
Week 6.
Oh. All right.
But
here we go.
Here's what's weird to me a little bit. Now, this leads to my theory that coaches somewhat mail it in. I know Herm Edwards was fired for other reasons, but think Nebraska is 2-1 since Scott Frost was fired. Wisconsin just pummeled Northwestern after Paul Christ was fired. Arizona State. There was who's the other team that shoot? I had this over the weekend.
How does Kentucky lose at home to South Carolina?
Because Kentucky, this is what I tried to tell Dustin Dopirak. Kentucky's not very good. They always play down to their competition.
Jeffrey the Greek is going to have the red ass this week. Iowa lost in a thriller 9-6. Iowa with another nine inning loss this year. Is Iowa highest ranking, highest profile Division I team that has had 2 games in which they scored in double digits?
You mean when they didn't reach double digits?
Yes. That's what I meant to say. I'm sorry.
That's a good question. They haven't reached double digits. Man, that's a great question because they didn't do it in the South Dakota State game. They didn't do it in the Iowa State game. They didn't do it this week. So that's half their games.
That's wow. It makes
They
their
did it-
stats look good for defense, but
Well, I think their defense is actually really good, but their offense is they need to change. They need Spencer Petras needs to not play quarterback anymore. I don't know why there's a hold up there, but it was so bad.
How about Kansas State and where'd it go? Kansas State and Iowa State, a 10-9 thriller there.
Yep.
What the hell is going on?
This is the weirdest college football season I can really remember outside of like 2007, at least through the first 6 weeks, because it doesn't look like there's a dominant team. Like Georgia has struggled. They almost lost to Missouri. Alabama
wins by 4 at home over a Texas A&M team that lost at home to App State.
Right, exactly. I don't know that there's a dominant. Ohio State might be the most dominant team. And they look good on both sides of the ball. The other teams have shown weaknesses. I think Ohio State's getting better and better.
North Carolina
Georgia
State
Tech
by 2 at home. Oh my God.
Georgia Tech's the other team. They've won. I think they're 2-0 since firing Jeff Collins. So that's 4 teams I named that have had winning records since letting go of their head coaches. Just something to keep an eye on.
Where in the world are the rest of the scores, man?
USC undefeated.
They are?
Yep, they're 30. They beat Washington State 30-14. That was a pretty good game through the first 2.5 quarters, 3 quarters. NC State beat Florida State.
Rutgers fired. Yeah, we already mentioned that.
Yep.
The AP Top 25 is out already. James Madison, Illinois. They're both in there, even though Dustin didn't vote for them. James Madison. Come on. What, are you kidding me?
See, this was my argument. When he said he voted James Madison but not in Illinois, I said, okay, I understand 6-0 has to mean something, but you're telling me that Illinois wouldn't beat James Madison?
Somebody.
Correct. Right.
There's not a team, Illinois, Kentucky, Texas, Cincinnati, Utah, Kansas, Syracuse, Kansas. There ain't a team on that list that James Madison could beat.
I don't think so either.
Who had they beaten?
That's a good question. Let's find out now, shall we? Let me go to the rankings here, and I'm going to look up their schedule because I don't know that they beat App State, but I don't think App State's that good. I think they just have one decent win on their resume, which is the road win against Texas A&M.
Oh,
James
did you
Madison
see the
number
snub?
25.
Did you see the snub by Eddie Robinson Jr. and Dion? Primetime.
Yes, I did see that.
What was that all about?
Dion, I think it was an interview earlier in the week. I could be mistaken on this, but I'm pretty sure it was earlier in that week when who were they playing? Jackson State? Was it Alabama State? I think. Dion said
Dion's got swag.
Dion said basically they made it their homecoming so they could make money. So because they know Jackson State's going to bring a big crowd, that with homecoming, they're going to bring back some of their alumni, some of their fans. It's going to be a bigger turnout for them. And he basically called it a quote unquote buy game so they could make money.
Who did?
Dion called he called it a buy game or a money game. So that way, because they know that Jackson State's going to bring a large crowd. And I think he's right.
Well, he's the coach of Jackson State.
Right. But he was saying that about Alabama State because Alabama State made it their homecoming game. So the head coach took exception to that, which I don't think is really – I don't know why that's a big deal. That's
he
more
kept
on the
saying that they had said something about him not being SWAC, which is, I guess, the Southwestern Athletic Conference. But afterwards there was. I wish we had the tomorrow. I'll get John to pull it up, but it was like Allen Iverson. He just kept repeating, "I'm not swag." Somebody gonna say, "I'm not swag." I'm not swag. Then who is? Who is swag? I'm not swag. Who is swag? And he just goes back and forth, back and forth. Oh, I do too. The fact that he is at that school, they are so stinking lucky.
I know. I wonder,
and it's lucky for that level of football.
Yes,
I mean, and he didn't go down there for a season and leave. Man, he's bringing attention not only to that school, but to that level of football. And yeah, I'm thinking that maybe Eddie Robinson Jr. is just jealous because I haven't heard his name, period. And the only reason his name means anything is if you took the junior off for what his father accomplished. But yeah, that's just, it was just funny.
Here's what I would keep an eye on though. I think Deion Sanders would be a great fit at Georgia Tech. So keep an eye on that. I think
there you go. I forgot about that.
Yep.
100 wins and they gone. Boy,
that's
too bad. If you're listening, man, you got to check in with us one day. He won't check in now that those Mets got.
Well, I ran into him over the weekend, and I told him that we had some conversation about him because of how the Mets collapsed late in the season. So he may not be listening now.
Oh man, tell him he needs to come on and join us.
We'll give him a few days to recover from this travesty because they got blown out.
It's too bad I don't have a lighter. You keep talking for a second.
So I'm going to go down. We talked about this. The James Madison is ranked number 25 because they're 6-0. Their wins are against Middle Tennessee State, Norfolk State, Appalachian State, Texas State, Arkansas State. They have not played a Power 5 team. They won't play a Power 5 team until they play.
I lit a candle in the background for in memorial for
there you go.
The New York Mets. So
I like it.
There's that. Hey, it looks like it's perfect time for a break as we're having memorial services for K-Bro's New York Mets as they win 101 games and they gone from the playoffs already. Amazing. Lots more coming up. My man Dustin Schutte is with me from outsider.com, and I'm Jim Coyle. I'll be back with more. Brought to you by our friends at Cabello Restaurant, located on the square in Bloomington on the north side in the former Grazie location. Great Southern traditions of Italy right here in Southern Indiana. Part of the Wow Club. Make sure you go there, sign up. Back with more right after this.
Good job, guys.
I started to think that was an electric candle. But it is a real one. Dude, I got a busy day. I forgot. Holy crap. I can't go. I'm flying out at 4:00 to Minneapolis.
Oh, yeah. When is that?
I have it packed today
geez.
at 4:00. And then I've got the presser that I'm not sure I'm going to make now.
What's going on in Minneapolis?
Media Days.
Big Ten basketball media days.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. I didn't know that was in Minnesota.
Yep, they changed it.
Why?
I don't know. My guess is Kevin Warren. Kevin Warren, I think, lived in Minnesota. So that's probably why. And he wants to do it all over the place. My guess is they'll probably move football all over the place too.
Did you say you're in Georgia right now?
No, I'm in Florida.
Florida. And I'm in California. So peace from
nice. Awesome. Yeah, I used to live in Georgia. Hopefully I can get back there someday, but Florida ain't too bad.
I hope to get back to Indiana one day, but I'm enjoying my time out here. Yeah, I was working at Indiana University before I accepted the job out here, but
nice.
I guess I missed teaching. I wasn't teaching at IU. I was like administrative work, and
okay.
I saw the opportunity to teach out here in LA and was able to keep the connection with Jim. So
Nice.
why not?
That's awesome. Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm more.
We got about a minute left on break.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't. I don't think I could do it. Going back to the. Every time I go up, it's usually between October and March, and it's always freaking snowing.
Those Midwest winters, yeah.
Miserable. I lived in Florida for 3 years, no, 2.5 years, moved to Georgia 4 years, back in Florida. So winter is no longer in my vocabulary.
Yeah, I'm excited for my first LA winter. See what that's like.
You'll love it.
About 30 seconds before we go back.
My God.
You're live in 10. Sorry. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio coming to you here on this Monday, brought to you by our friends at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, Indiana, down in southern Indiana, right off of I-65. If you're down there, stop in, visit. Pizza, burgers, beer. There are specials at all of the above with about 50 plus TVs in and around for you to never miss the action. Dustin Schutte with me here today, as always, from outsider.com. And I forgot. From tomorrow and Wednesday, we'll be coming to you live from the Target Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota, for men's Big Ten basketball media days. Gee whiz, I got to jump on a flight here in a couple hours, and got a lot to get done here, man. I don't think I'm gonna make the presser.
What time do those start tomorrow?
Like 8.
Oh man. Whew.
Yeah, it is. Man, it's got a lot to do here. And a short period of time, head to the airport at Indianapolis, and probably got to be there at like 3, which means I'm like, oh my, and getting an MRI at 1.
Oh boy,
you talk about squeezed in.
No kidding. Yeah, I'd be packing and then going straight from the MRI to the airport. Probably be. It's going to be. Bet. It's going to be tight.
That's going to be happening. That's going to be happening. That will be. Michael's Cardinals. Bats went cold. Sad to see the end of Albert and Yachty's career end that way. Oh, they're knocked out.
Yeah, they got beat by the Phillies. I think it was just a 2 games. It was they're all best of 3, but I think they got beat 2 games.
Lost twice.
First 2. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but not shocker. Is it kind of coming up chalk right now for the most part?
Other than the Mets, I believe so. I'd have to look. I don't remember the seedings.
I don't know if you count Mets the way they.
Yeah, that was a 4-5, so it wasn't a huge upset.
Yeah, the Mets were not a division winner, so although they did win 101 games, still amazing.
Yeah, the ESPN
and they did it. Jacob deGrom and
Max Scherzer.
Scherzer, man.
He got knocked around in that first game. Here's what's interesting, though, is that the Braves Phillies is the division series. Those are 2 NL East teams.
Phillies were the 6th seed, baby.
Okay, there you go. Oh, yeah, because the Cardinals won the division. And then Padres, Dodgers are both NL West. So there's some divisional games in the divisional round.
There you are. Looking forward to that. Let's see. Tonight. I'm on the wrong one. Let's see. Where's Major League Baseball? Tonight. Who's playing tonight? Anybody? Is there a.
Nope. They'll play. They start tomorrow.
There you go. That's October 11th. Yeah. The Braves hosting the Phillies. 1:00 game. That game is on Fox. The Stros hosting The Mariners, man, Mariners look now that could be a series right there.
Yes.
The Astros and the Mariners. Mariners have been hot. That's at that game starts at 3:30 in the afternoon. And then the Yankees hosting Cleveland at 7:30 tomorrow night, TBS. And then the Dodgers and the Padres.
That's till 9:30.
Man, they won't have to travel far.
No.
That's nice. So there's only 8 teams left. They got the riffraff out of the way.
They did. I kind of like it now.
The funny thing is the Phillies finished 3rd in the division behind the Braves.
Behind the Braves and the Mets. Mets are already gone.
Two familiar opponents playing there. The Dodgers and the Padres, first and second in that division. Yankees and the Guardians, 2 different divisional winners. Did the Mariners finish behind the Astros? Same division?
I don't think they're in the same division, are they? Oh, yeah, they are.
I think
they are.
Yep.
I forget Houston because for so long they were in the National League. I keep forgetting they're in the American League now.
How many people were at Hoosier Hysteria Saturday or whatever it was, Friday? Did you enjoy that? How many stuck around for G Herbo? The kids loved it. What did you like about the Hoosier Hysteria? The coaches both coming out in Cadillacs. That was kind of cool. Except for they should have driven them all the way in and made a circle and driven back out. Because you could barely see them as they pulled in, but I think that they should have brought it all the way in.
Now, I wasn't there, but my favorite part was when Mike Woodson said swears. I thought that was hilarious.
You mean swear words?
Yeah, that's what swears. I was just making a joke.
I've never heard it referred to that, but you mean when he said, excuse my language, but Indiana basketball is the
bleep
stuff?
Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
I'd say that's one of the great things about Mike Woodson.
Yes. When we were talking about earlier.
Kind of a just relaxing, common conversation.
Says whatever he wants.
There's no sense in making it crazy. Now, if you go to thehoosier.com, you will find a piece from Travis Graff, the national basketball recruiting analyst for Rivals. And he's got a piece this week in Recruiting Roundup regarding Flory Badunga mentioned. Where have I said that Flory's going to end up?
Cincinnati.
His future cast is to Cincinnati. Wes Miller and his staff have done a terrific job recruiting 5-star big man Flory Badunga and have positioned themselves at the top of the leaderboard for his services. Badunga, arguably the most productive big man in high school basketball, could step on the court from day one and start at any school in the country, but the Bearcats have made him a priority already. There's still other schools that can make a run, but with the hiring of Drew Adams, it seems like Cincinnati has only strengthened its chances. Adams, a sharp up-and-comer in the college coaching ranks, is the son of Indiana Elite director Mark Adams. Indiana Elite is the AAU program that Badunga has played for since being in the United States, so there's a comfort level already with the younger Adams now being at Cincinnati. Adams' track record has been impressive as an assistant coach, and he's been recognized as one of the top mid-major assistants in the nation. Mike Roberts, also there, former IU assistant coach, but that's why, I knew that as well, and that's why, previously it said Cincinnati, baby. He was in attendance for Hoosier Hysteria over the weekend, but he's a game changer, though. I mean,
yeah.
And Cincinnati is going to be. They've landed some other recruits. Boy, that would sure be. See, that's if you could land a guy like Flory Badunga, that is a game. That's a game changer for Indiana.
Right.
I don't know if it's a program changer for Indiana, but it is definitely one that would continue and propel them on their upward trajectory.
You mean Indiana? I thought you meant if Cincinnati gets him.
Oh, yeah.
I mean program changer for Cincinnati. I'm not for
Definitely.
Indiana. Yes. I don't know that it's a program changer, but it's a game changer for sure.
Absolutely. He's ranked number 2 nationally already after being unranked, which is funny. But we'll see how that goes. As the recruiting
world turns.
There you go. That's what I was trying to get out. As the recruiting world turns. That show is no longer on the air now, isn't it? Didn't it just go off after like
Did it really?
On TV?
I'm going to look it up now.
Or maybe that was Days of Our Lives.
I don't know.
I remember when I was a little kid, your mom watching those soap operas, and I'll never forget that hourglass. These are the days of our lives.
As the world turns, started.
That was another one.
Hold on. There's
great radio.
54 seasons, 13,858 episodes.
What about Days of Our Lives? Do I have to look that one up?
Let's go back. Here, I got you. Days of Our Lives. This is incredible. Over 15,000 episodes. That's watch now on Peacock. I want the history here. Give me the Wikipedia history.
Days of Our Lives started in 1965, baby.
They've got 14,430 episodes. Wow.
How about that?
This is amazing. How do you come up with shows for 14,500 episodes, basically?
Have you ever watched it?
No. But I'm just saying.
Seen any of that crap?
No. I mean, it's been on throughout my life, and it's been on the television, so I understand that it's not the best television, and that people die and apparently are resurrected, and I don't know how any of that works. But still, you just throw in the towel.
It's amazing. Not a ton of well-known actors have come out of there, but it would be cool to see a list of
longest running shows ever.
Of the people that were on there.
Oh,
that
that's
may
true.
have made it out.
Wasn't there was a former IU quarterback who his dad was on that show, correct?
Xander Diamont.
That's right. We heard about it every game.
Is that the show he was on?
I don't remember what show it was on, but I know it was some soap opera because it was talked about literally every game he played in.
Yeah, well, I guess he's not on there now. I don't know what his name was. There it is.
Something Diamont, Mr. Diamont.
I don't know. You never know. Stage names.
That's true. That's a good point. Why is this not?
But why we got to talk into this, I have no.
Hey, the longest running news show in American history is Meet the
going to
Press.
miss it. And in case you're missing it, is streaming on Peacock Live. And you're like currently it's still going.
Yeah.
He said some of them used to be 15 minutes long. Tom says.
Oh. Huh.
Jim Harbaugh, you're looking at the chili cook-off champion right here, by the way. Asking again for those who won the chili cook-off. It was me. And I don't want to hear it by default or anything because when the bell rang, I was in the ring.
You were the only one that showed up.
I was there. But
that means something.
This week I'll have Chef JD give his thoughts on it.
There we go.
He ended up getting just strangled last week because he had to cater the Fox noon kickoff thing. They ended up getting slammed with that. So, and that again, people, that should tell you about how great the food and whatnot at BB's is. Fox wanted it. They're like, that's what we want them catering our
That's
stuff.
awesome.
And they do cater everything. So
that's a great
they were catering the Fox noon kickoff. So there you go. 5 lefts. He's watching what's
I have no idea.
What
I don't have a guess.
Is that a Housewives maybe?
I watch GH.
He says it's a simple formula in soap operas: cheating, and more cheating, baby. JB's online with us already.
Oh, is GH General Hospital?
Oh yes.
There we go.
How can I forget that? Is that still on?
I don't know. I don't watch it.
All I remember is somebody got married once, and that was
once. Somebody got married once.
No,
in
there
General
was this
Hospital.
big, like they disappeared and came back, and there was a wedding or some crap. It was like this rage. It was the rage.
We're going to need Five Leps to come on sometime and give us a play-by-play here of General Hospital and what this big wedding was.
That's right. Tell them. My Rushrooms rose to the occasion. Dustin couldn't show up with some Wendy's chili and try to cheat. It wouldn't have mattered if he had it. It wouldn't taste nearly as good as mine. I put the love and the care. There you go. He knows. Five Leps knows what I'm talking about.
Luke and Laura.
Yeah, that was this big thing, man. I don't know. I just remember that being that.
Did you break out
I was in high school or something?
Did you break out the popcorn and just sit and watch General Hospital or what?
It became a thing, man. Not for me. I just, was aware of what was going on in the media back then, and just remember all that crap. Plus the other stuff. Like I said, my mom. Oh my gosh, she watched that crap like many of our moms did, which is funny. So yeah,
I can't believe. Imagine doing something 14,000 times. I don't know if I've ever. I don't know if you. It's just incredible to me. I don't know why that's such a staggering number.
Mike Ham says that wedding was huge back then. Well, plus, get out of here. Are you kidding me, man?
That's amazing. I love that.
Oh, man, I do too. I think it's funny as heck. Five Leps used to schedule his classes around. Hey, he's not, I will say this, and I'm not talking about myself, but he's not alone. That became some thing, man. You didn't have, it was the original reality TV, if you want to call it. It wasn't real,
okay,
but neither is reality TV. It's all scripted.
Right, exactly.
So this was it was like
it's kind of like
if they would have had wrestling in there, it would be today's WWE.
WWE, probably like something like Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
All combined.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, all combined.
I used to schedule my classes around naps.
Man, I don't remember what I scheduled mine around. I just wanted to get them out of the way.
Yeah.
No Friday classes and no evening classes, but that didn't always work out. But I tried my dangest. My
very first semester, I played tennis in college, so I had to be done by 2:30. I tried to go from 7:30 a.m. until 1:30 p.m. in consecutive classes, and that was the biggest mistake I've ever made.
What's going to happen on IU football, you think, with Rod Carey stepping in?
I'm interested to see what the offense looks like in terms of what does the scheme look like. I don't think Rod Carey can make – I think this offensive line is so bad. I don't know that you can make the kind of improvements they need to make in such a short amount of time to where you're going to see a run game. But I think that if Rod Carey and Walt Bell collaborate and scheme it up right, I think that the talent they have with Cam Campbell, with Matthews, with some of the running backs they got in the backfield, I think they can scheme and get some yardage and get some points on the board. Whether or not it's going to be enough to win some games, I don't know. But I think you look at Maryland, Rutgers, and Michigan State, I think those three right now look not pretty winnable, but I think that Indiana does have a shot to win those three games. I think Purdue's out of the question. I think the other games are probably out of the question right now. We'll see what happens, how much this team improves, but I'm just interested to see what the offense looks like from a schematic standpoint. I don't think the offensive line's going to look that much better.
Well, look, Renata pointed out that the highest rated soap opera with 30 million people that watched that wedding of Luke and Laura.
Wow.
I'm not getting 30 million people. We're not getting 30 million people.
Yet.
Five Leps said you used to schedule your classes around DuckTales.
Hey, DuckTales is a great show, and it's got a great theme song.
Well, this has been a great show and fun, and I can't wait to do it again tomorrow. But we will be coming to you live from the Big Ten Basketball Media Days at the Target Center in Minneapolis the next time you see me. And, man, hopefully, if I get there in time, gee whiz. got to bust out here and get to a flight. I cannot thank everybody enough. Thanks, of course, to the man, Don Fischer, Dustin Dopirak, and Dustin Schutte. As always, RC for filling in, for John, the producer, as well. But most importantly, thanks to you guys. Without you, we have no reason to be here. And we're back tomorrow to do it again from Minneapolis for you. Until then, I'm Jim Coyle. I will see you on the radio.
Safe travels, Jim.